Give me that again.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
I thought you were going for like an Eliza Hamilton thing.
Yes, I did.
Okay.
I forgot the
Yeah,
lyrics.
but hold on. The ending of that song is really depressing, though. Let's not follow that through to its conclusion.
Okay. I just have that reasoning there, okay?
All right.
It's
Okay.
kind of boring to do 1, 2, 3.
Can you say it in French, like she does in the play? Une, deux, trois, sept.
I know how to do in Japanese.
Okay.
Ichimisashi.
Keep going.
I don't
Oh,
know.
you just know to 3. Okay. All right. Perfect. Hey, this is Matt,
This is Yuna.
and this is episode. What are we on? Episode 5.
Yes,
That's-
can't believe that. It's like a work week. It's day 5.
I'm
Yeah.
just astounded that, like, I think this is a milestone in some way, but really it just means that we've just recorded some conversation that may or may not have any value 5 times in a row.
Yeah, pretty much. But it adds value to my life, especially during this lockdown period.
Oh yeah. Let's
Yeah.
let's not talk about that. I feel like we've opened the last couple episodes
I know.
with lockdown updates.
Yeah,
And those are never fun, especially not this weekend.
yeah.
So let's keep that parked to the side, well away from this safe, joyful space.
Exactly. So today, what we focus on is all about things that bring us joy and hopefully bring you some joy.
Now, before we start, I'm actually looking at our list for today. There's one thing that's not on here that's not going to be relevant to talk about next week, and that is our weekend food plans this weekend.
Yeah.
So we've got a
It
whole
will be
bunch
on
of.
next week, right?
I'm not going to remember that next week to talk about what we ate last weekend.
So how about let's just put that as one of our things.
How about this is our 0 thing.
Yeah, zero thing.
Is that cheating?
Yeah, it is cheating.
All right, we're cheating. This is our 0 thing, and Windows just decided to give us a notification.
Oops.
So
Okay.
this is our 0 thing. So we have a.
No, I think still it's good to just can that be one of my thing?
You want to change one?
Yeah,
Okay, all right. Then we'll save it.
just save it.
Okay, cool.
Everything's good material, you know. Let's stick to
You don't
three
want to waste
things.
any. There's just too much joy in the world.
Exactly, but I think you have to like save this special moment to actually stick to the 1, 2, 3.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
All right, let's get into it then.
sweet. So I think this week's turn is Matt. We'll start first. So what's your first thing that brings you joy this weekend?
Oh yeah, so I am first. So my first thing this week is actually, it's not a new thing, but it's something, and it's actually not something that I've discovered recently, but I sort of rediscovered it. It's a Netflix TV show called Love on the Spectrum. So this is actually, originally it was produced by ABC Australia in 2019, late 2019, I believe. I just realized today when I was prepping that they have a second season, but I'm just going to talk about the first season. So it was brought
and
into...
that's a reality show, right?
Yes, so it's a reality show. We talked
Dating
about
show.
sort of. I'll get into it because you haven't actually watched this.
No.
I don't think.
Yeah.
You watched it like in the background the
Yeah.
first time I watched it, but I watched it again this week because it's a show that I go back to if I'm just like kind of having a crap day or something. It's just like it kind of brings me up. So it's a reality show.
Why it
And-
brings you up?
Well, let me get into it.
Okay, I'm just very curious.
So it is a reality show.
Yeah.
It's sort of a dating show, but not. When I say reality dating show, people think The Bachelor or I don't know. What's
Love
the other
Island.
one? Oh yeah, I guess Love Island is more of like the hot one lately, or like Too Hot to
I
Handle.
keep hearing that in the podcast.
Or this stupid show. What was the one we watched yesterday? This is not one of. This is not my thing, but we
it's
watched
not. It's
Sexy Beasts.
Sexy
I think.
Beast. Sexy
Oh my gosh.
Beast.
Yeah. Just a quick sidebar. If you're on Netflix and you're getting recommended a show called Sexy Beasts, even if you like reality shows, just avoid it. In my opinion,
just to have a look. It's interesting.
it's so stupid. It's so stupid. The premise is just these people put on like masks, like prosthetic masks,
Yeah.
to look like animals or devils or whatever, and then they just go on dates wearing these masks, and then they have to choose just based off of like a couple like 1 hour dates.
Yeah.
And then they take off the mask and, oh, they're hot. Cool. Great. great.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. That's the
Yeah,
summary.
pretty much. Yes, very good summary.
Oh my god! And it's one of those shows. What I don't like about it, this is a tangent away from joyful things, but what I hate about this show
Yeah.
is it tries so hard to be funny with the writing.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is not my thing.
Yeah.
So that's what maybe you think when I say reality dating show. So Love on the Spectrum. I'm just gonna read the summary of the show that you can find when googling it. So Love on the Spectrum follows 7 singles as they take their first steps into the world of dating. As well as help from their families, experts provide the love seekers with practical skills to help them navigate what can be a confusing experience for anyone, giving them the confidence to begin their journey on the road to finding love. What that summary actually doesn't highlight, which is a bit strange that that's the official summary. So all of these people that they follow are on the autism spectrum.
Yeah.
And so what this show does is basically follow a handful of these. It says singles, but there's a couple couples in there as well. All of them on the spectrum, some to a higher degree than others, and just follows what it's like for them to be in the dating world, basically.
Yeah.
And I think what is so interesting about this show, at least the first season, again, I haven't watched the second, although now that I know that it's actually on, I can go on ABC Online, their website to watch it. I probably will this week. But with the first season, when I say that it's a dating show about people on the autism spectrum, there might be a tendency to think, oh, they're just, exploiting people to get people to watch. Because it's like, oh, look at these people who are different from us. Because a lot of reality shows is straight up just exploitation of dumb people or careless people or reckless people.
Yeah, I agree.
And this is, if that was the case for this show, it could be one of the worst offenders of this. Because these are people who, view the world differently than a lot of than neurotypical folks. And apologies, that might not be the right term. I need to educate myself a bit more on this. So it could be really exploitative. But what's interesting about it is it's actually super uplifting. So they don't actually like direct the people what to do. They literally just sort of ask them questions about how they view love, how they view life. They interview the parents and the families of these people, which there's some very heartbreaking stories because the parents are just really wanting their kid. And when I say kid, a lot of these people are in their 20s or even I think there's a couple in their early 30s. Yeah. And their parents and families just want them to find love because at the end of the day, as the show really kind of harps on, these are people, no matter what your condition is, whether you have physical disability, mental disability, any of that, every human being wants love and wants acceptance and wants that
like love is love. Like everyone desires to be loved and love someone, right?
Exactly. And there's this one of the sort of I guess main people on the show who talks to these folks on the spectrum is this relationship coach who specializes in this, named Jody Rogers. And some of the best scenes are she just basically sits down with these people and just tries to get them to think through like what a date would be like. And some of them, like I said, it's different degrees. So some of them are okay to have a conversation, but they might not understand how to keep like a date going or like what that means. There's a couple examples. One of the people on there has trouble even just with basic like introductions and like how that works. And it's really interesting to see how this relationship coach approaches that. It's with a lot of sensitivity. It's with a lot of openness and patience, and it's really beautiful to watch that. But I think one of the biggest reasons this show brings me joy is because what they go through, the struggles that they go through on these dates, because they follow them on actual dates, usually with other folks on the spectrum. They're actually surprisingly relatable because it's stuff like, how do I keep a conversation going? How do I keep a date from sounding like a job interview? Like stuff that I think most people actually go through when they start dating. It's just that it's earlier in life for a lot of people.
Agree.
And so when you watch this and you think, and you find yourself rooting for them because, during the actual date, there's no commentary over the top. It's literally just the cameras are just sort of watching what's happening. It's very like objective filmmaking, I guess you would say. Because there's no one like trying to tug on your emotions or anything. There's very little like music. Even if there's like a lot of awkward pauses, the camera just sort of lets it hang. They don't do a lot of editing and cuts. So it's very natural. And so there's these little moments where, there's this one example of this one gentleman who is really into model trains. And I think he mentions it he doesn't mention it. I think his date mentions that she's interested in that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And you can see his eyes
His
like
eyes
light
lit
up.
up. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, and he realized, oh, like there's suddenly a spark there. And I think everyone who's gone on a date ever can identify with that.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, there's something that I can latch onto, and we can make a connection about that.
Yeah.
And so it's really like, you at the end of the show, you realize like some of the people go on second dates and third dates. There's a couple of them that are actually already in relationships. There's one, both of the people in the relationship are on the spectrum, and the episode ends with them proposing, actually.
Yeah, I think I remember that too. Yeah. They're very sweet.
Yeah. And it's really beautiful the way that they kind of complement each other, and yeah, I don't know. So it's just, there's nothing negative about the show at all. It's literally just showing how people who maybe think differently than the majority of people, want to search for love and search for connection. Yeah, and that's all it is. It's very straightforward.
So it's very sweet and it's uplifting, right? And it makes you feel good show, right?
Oh, it's extremely sweet. Yeah.
I think we need this kind of show nowadays to lift up spirits.
Yeah, I was sad because the season 1 that's on Netflix still, and hopefully they put season 2 up, but season 1 was only, I think, 4 episodes. Yeah. And I like binge watched it. The first time I discovered the show, I watched it all just in an afternoon, and then there was no next episode, and I was actually really upset. I'm like, I want to keep watching this. I want to know if they find love.
Yeah, you want to know if they find their true love and what's happening with their life, right? It just keeps you interested.
Yeah, it's just a really unique show, really beautiful. I don't know if it's on Netflix outside of Australia. If you're not in Australia and you're listening, find a VPN and watch it, or just like search online, because it's only a few hours. And it's a really good perspective to have.
And that show is produced in Australia, right?
It's all in Australia. Yeah, I didn't mention that, but they're all in Australia. Some in New South Wales, in Sydney. Some, I think there's a couple in Brisbane, maybe. Yeah. But yeah, it's all Australia. That's my first thing. It's just a very uplifting show. I go back to it just to watch an episode whenever I am feeling down. Yeah. But it's very sweet. So that's my first thing. Yuna, I see your first thing on here, probably we're very excited to talk about. What's your first thing? So my first thing is actually the Tokyo Olympic 2020. 2020. I love that they're still calling it that. This thing makes me happy. I watched the ceremony yesterday. Yeah, we stayed up and watched it. Yeah, we stayed up to watch it from like 9 p.m. until 1:30 a.m. Just to finish the whole thing. The reason it makes me happy is I know it's very difficult time for Japan to host this event, but they still go ahead with it. Although with people worrying about what's this gonna bring to the country, right? Would that be more cases, more viruses, where those athletes bring virus back to their home country? All these things. But I know we can't avoid this in current situation, right? But it still makes me happy that they went ahead. It's because for the broader audience around the world, we have 2 full weeks just to watch these hardworking athletes trying to compete in their field, represent their countries, and everyone just focus on the sports. There's no politics. It's just purely the athletic spirits in there. I feel it brings me something to look forward to every day. Like for today, instance, today's Saturday, right? We keep our TV on all day just to have the games in the background. And because our background, right? Like we live in Australia, of course we want to watch the game has any Australian players. But I'm Chinese, Matt is American, so basically we're rooting for 3 countries, and that's very exciting. To be honest, I think if you're gonna pick like 3 countries to root for, that's a pretty good group. Yeah, I know. A lot of competition in there. Yeah. So I just feel like Tokyo Olympic 2020 provides us like a chance, 2 weeks, just fully focus on those beautiful events, everyone competing purely for sports. Yeah. You like, there's a lot of probably new stars were coming from this game. And especially those people, they have trained in such a difficult condition, right? Like they trained for 4 years, now it's 5 years just to be on this game. So I think it's really, really exciting. Yeah, and also the opening ceremony was pretty emotional as well. It's interesting for those maybe who didn't watch it or who weren't sure. The stadium in Tokyo, they weren't allowed to have anybody in there, so it was basically just like the performers for the actual ceremony, and then all of the athletes coming in, and some foreign dignitaries as well.
Yeah.
So it was interesting, but I still think they made it very entertaining to watch. My favorite part personally was when they have all of they I think it was maybe, I don't know how long ago they did this. I think last time they had it in Japan, maybe, I'm not sure, but they made all these little sort of 2D logos for all of the sports.
The 50 sports.
The 50 sports.
Yeah,
the
they
50
have
50 this year at least. Yeah.
50 this year, and they have two people acting it's like a Pictionary to show.
Yeah.
They show it like exactly the same posture as the figure in those 50 pictures. It's really entertaining.
Yeah.
That's actually my favorite part of the
opening ceremony. It was really cute. So like the original
really
one, for those who are not aware, like the original set of 50 is just little icons that are just like two colors. It's like little vector art sort of thing.
With lines.
With little like stick figure guys. Circle heads.
Yeah.
And what Yuna's describing, what they did is they had these two people and just full body. It's like white.
Three people. There's a white people to be the background.
Yeah. So it's just like it's white and blue, right? I think.
Yeah, just white and blue.
So they had these people in like full bodysuits with white and then some blue, like on their heads or whatever. And then they had lots of little props that were like white, just like paper props or something that were white and blue.
Yeah.
And they literally just like went through and did they reproduced all the poses in real time.
Yeah.
For all 50 sports, like in 3 minutes or something.
I think so. It's very quick, very fast paced, and just really entertaining to watch.
Yeah,
and it's not they switch the thing pretty quickly. Like I think they use some props as well.
They did, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'll find a video and put it in the show notes for anyone who hasn't seen it. If you're not interested, because the opening ceremonies are pretty long.
Yeah, very long. Yeah.
So it takes a while to get through, but I think this is worth watching.
Yeah,
sure.
Definitely this one. And also I think like for me personally, I like to watch the athletes of each country entering into the stadium, right?
Oh, yeah.
And it's especially when you see your own country, like when we see like Australia team, China team, US team enter the stadium, we're just really happy. It's like it's good to see your country there and represent to compete. And also one thing I found really exciting is for this year, I think that's the first time they have two flag holder, one male, one female for every team.
Yeah.
And I just feel like this is truly equality, right? Like for gender equality, to make a statement while using Olympic platform.
Exactly.
Yeah, which I'm really, really glad they have done that.
And as a side note, one of the things that I love most about all the countries marching in is seeing all the different fashions.
Yeah, they have different costumes. It's very fun. Yeah, so I just and this makes me realize the world is actually it's massive. Like there's so many countries you just like you probably haven't heard of, but we have seen team like there's only one or two contestants from that team. Like how difficult that would be, and how proud their country would be to have them to be here, represent their country, right?
Yeah, I think like in some ways that's almost more impressive than seeing like the 300 or 400
I know
athletes from some of the bigger countries. Is seeing like these countries that they might just be like, for example, like what's an example, like the Cook Islands, I think, which is like 30,000 people in a little island country or something, or no, is it a bunch of islands? I don't know.
It's a small country, but
very
like,
small country.
Yeah.
And they come in and they've got like just maybe 2 or 3 athletes, but they're still just as excited and they're still waving their flag proudly, and like that's so cool to see.
Yeah.
And also seeing the other highlight, which I think they just started in the previous Olympics in Rio, was the refugee team.
Oh yes,
which is very heartwarming.
That's very heartwarming to see they actually have a space to compete in Olympics. Consider where they came from, right? And it's really nice for the community to sponsor them to do this. Yeah. And I think there's one more thing is really heartwarming is during the opening ceremony, I think also the torch relay, they have the frontline workers those nurses and doctors.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. To present the flags, to hand the torch, which like to appreciate the work they have done, which is really sweet.
Yeah.
That's why I feel like I'm really happy just to, even I know it's difficult time, but I'm glad it's happening after a year long waiting. Yeah, I truly just hope maybe after these 2 weeks, everyone will return home safely and not be impacted.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully.
I think they're taking precautions.
Yeah. Just fingers crossed for that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's my first thing that
Awesome.
makes me really happy. Just happened recently. So Matt, what's your second thing that makes you happy?
Cool. So my second thing is a running record related thing, and this is interesting because I actually had a few to choose from this week. So a couple call outs to the last week was a very famous 100-mile race in the US called the Hard Rock 100, which this is very like specific to a very niche hobby. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, that's fine. You can just let it go. But so there was a new record broken at the Hard Rock 100 course. Super excited about that.
100 mile?
100 mile, yeah. So that's not what this is. This is something. This is one of my options I wanted to bring. There's a lot to choose from this week.
Yeah.
There's another insane one going on from this guy named Robbie Ballinger, who's a vegan ultramarathoner he's like summiting every peak in the Rockies or something like that right now. Like it's like 60 of them, like going up and down all of the peaks.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's one cool thing. But the one I'm gonna pick is Timothy Olson's Pacific Crest Trail FKT. There's a lot of things I should explain about this. So I'll break down.
I'm so lost.
I'll break down everything here. So Timothy Olson is he's a really well known in the sport ultra runner. So do you remember I talked about the
golden hour?
So yes, but do you remember the race I talked about for that? So the Western States 100. You probably maybe remember me saying that.
Yeah.
But it's basically there's a refresher for you.
Okay.
It's one of the oldest 100-mile races in the world.
Yeah. I remember that.
In
you
California.
say that. Yeah.
So he was a 2-time winner of that. I think about 10 or 15 years ago. I can't remember the exact year, but he won that twice and was the former record holder for that course. So the fastest one for that.
Yeah.
And he has a bunch of other wins in the ultra running world, and he's been in the sport for a very, very long time. He's sort of known also as a very a big proponent of mindfulness and like meditation, and he's like just he very much, he's one of those people who very much like walks the talk of what he talks about. So that's who Tim Olson is. The Pacific Crest Trail is a very famous, I think it's the second longest marked footpath in the United States, behind only the Appalachian Trail, I believe. And it goes basically all the way from Mexico at the border with California, up through multiple mountain ranges, and ends at the border with Canada, up at Washington. So just sort of like a main line right up through the Sierras, which is a famous mountain range there.
What's the elevation for that?
So I was going to share some of the statistics just to give you an idea. So the actual trail itself, as far as the distance, is about 2,650 miles. So Yuna's going to convert that to kilometers for us.
Wow, so that's 4,265 kilometers.
Yep.
Wow.
That's it. Actually, the elevation gain for that is equal to climbing Mount Everest 16.8 times, according to his website about this.
How long does it take him?
So we'll get to that.
Okay.
So the
PCT
PCT traverses 6 different national parks in the U.S. and includes 900 miles on very rugged trail through California's Sonoran and Mojave deserts. So it goes through both desert and mountain. So that's the Pacific Crest Trail. The current record of traversing the entire thing at once is 52 days, 8 hours, and 25 minutes.
50 days.
52 days, 8 hours, and 25 minutes. Yep. So that was the previous record. Basically, this is when these records are held. This is another very sort of like niche within a niche in like the ultra running and through hiking communities. Mm-hmm. There's something called an FKT, which is the fastest known time.
Yeah.
So basically, there's a whole database you can search on this too of all these just really famous. Most of them are fairly long, mostly trails as well, like sort of bushwalking type of trails. And there's a database that holds the fastest known time of someone finishing it.
Yeah.
And there's usually has to be there's photo evidence, and there's other people tracking them as well as sort of like prove it. There's all these sort of standards that go into this.
Yeah.
So some of the most famous ones are like for example, the Appalachian Trail, and then also the PCT is a pretty big one. Yeah, so what Tim Olson did recently, he actually just finished this yesterday. He finished the entire thing from the south to the north, from Mexico to Canada, basically. So the total time was 51 days, 16 hours, and 55 minutes.
No, so he improved by 1 full day.
So he, about, was that 16 hours or so?
Like how many contestants for that?
So that's the thing. It's not a race. It's basically the fastest known time holder is whoever did it last. So this one was set several years ago.
Okay.
So he just did it. And there's different categories. So you can do it what they call like supported versus unsupported. He did it supported, which basically means he had like a crew following along to help him, but he took every step under his own power.
Okay.
No, he didn't get in a car or anything.
Right.
Yeah, and he obviously slept in between because it's like 52
days.
Yeah,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so he basically did well over 50 miles a day to accomplish this. And he also, one thing that I love when I read about this stuff is seeing how they have to fuel themselves. So he actually had to consume more than 5,000 calories a day.
Wow, that's a lot.
And it helps give a sense of scale. The equivalent of this is basically doing 101 back-to-back marathons. So he did a little bit less than 2 marathons a day. Wow. on like trail, like very rugged, up and down.
Yeah, because like he pretty much run like 80 kilometers per day, right?
Yeah, that would be about 80 Ks a day-ish.
Yeah,
roughly.
Wow.
So one of the things that I love about this, I mean, I love these sort of feats where it's just purely a test of your endurance. I mean, this is like pure, like just that, nothing else except what he himself can do, right?
Yeah.
Because every step that he takes is getting through. I actually was following on his Instagram because his wife and his family were posting updates about that, and like they would meet him sometimes and send some videos and do little like mini interviews of him and like how he was feeling.
Yeah.
And the mindset that you have to go through to achieve something like that, you have to stay so positive and like hopeful and like keep the kind of your eyes on the goal. It's just so insane to me. And there's a quote from him on this article as well, which I'll put a link in the show notes, where he says, and I think this really embodies what this guy is about. He's always been one of my idols, and this really encapsulates why. He says, "I'm not trying to conquer nature. I'm asking permission to move through and appreciate it."
Right. That's very nice.
Yeah, which I interpret that as saying, it's one thing to say, I'm going to, beat this trail or like conquer up this mountain and like do it like to prove like how good I am. And his mindset is more just, nature is here, whether you want it or not. And it could live without you just fine. And you're a visitor to it, right?
Yeah.
Like you're the one that's transient going through the nature. So yeah, I know it's not the most relatable thing for most of us, but I like following this stuff and just seeing him finally finish that, because I've been following along for weeks on his social media.
Like, how old is him? How long has he been doing
he's
this?
older than us. I think he's in his late 30s.
Right. And how long has he been doing this like endurance sport?
How long has he been doing it?
Yeah.
I can check.
Is he like a professional?
Yeah. So
is he in Olympics?
No. There's no ultra marathons in the Olympics, unfortunately.
No, he can do the marathon.
So in 2009, he ran his first 50K race and came in
like
6th place.
12 years almost.
Yeah. And from 2009 to 2011, so he came in 6th place at his first 50-kilometer event, and then 2011.
Yeah.
He first attempted the Western States race, and then 2012, the very next year, he won it and set the record. So like basically within those 3 years, he got to the point where he could actually be setting records on these really famous events.
Yeah.
So
that's amazing. And he's full-time doing that, right?
I believe so, yeah. Yeah. I think he's a sponsored athlete as well by Adidas, who is sort of helping document some of this, but at the end of the day, it's all him doing it. So anyway, I just think that
it's pretty impressive and
that was pretty
cool. Inspiring.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, that's my second thing.
Yeah.
Yuna, what is your second thing?
For me, my second thing is really great to see the people in Henan helping each other during that difficult period.
So do you want to maybe tell what happened? Because I don't know if everyone knows this.
Oh, right. So there is in Henan is a province in China. I think it's in the mid China. It's next to Yellow River, and I think last week around 20th of July, they have this massive rainfall that probably it's once in 1,000 years. So it's really extreme weather condition, and the whole city is flooded, and they were subways being flooded and people trapped in those subways and couldn't get out. But this is what happened, the natural disaster, right? That's not what I'm going to talk about. What I'm going to talk about, because I've been seeing videos of the normal citizens in Henan. Normal people like you and me, they risk their life to work together, try to help the people who got trapped by the flood and drift away by these waters. So I'm just when I saw those videos online, I'm just really touched by how people can be so selfless to come together to help the people who need the help the most. And that makes me believe there is most of people in this world, they are nice, they're willing to help when other people are suffering.
Yeah.
No matter where you come from, no matter what you do.
Yeah, I think that's interesting, because when you see those natural disasters happen, I guess, it's very hard to take a lot of positives from those, because it's just bad for everyone involved. But you do see those stories come out of, people helping people stay safe or rescuing them from those situations, like you said. Yeah. And it's just a lot of that sort of brotherly and sisterly love within humanity kind of come to its peak.
Yeah. So it's really like nice for me to see us. We are born nice. We're not evil. We care for each other, especially in these extreme circumstances. And that gives me hope and makes me happy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the thing. Like, I know it's very, very sad, and probably the city is called Zhengzhou. It's the capital city in Henan province. Probably they are still suffering, because the weather forecast saying they will still have the heaviest rainfall for the next 3 days from 20th, but today is 24th, right? So I hope the people in that city are holding up well, because from what I see on the internet, on social media back in China, everyone from other provinces, other part of the world is sending their help to support the people there. So, and that makes me believe like people do care about each other. Like, it doesn't matter who you are, but if you need help and I can offer my help, I will help you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's a very nice thing I see last week.
Yeah.
And makes me feel happy.
That flooding too, because I think there's a lot of that going on in Germany as well, and I think is in the Alabama in the U.S. I want to say, seeing some of the similar stories come out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it is. I mean, again, it's tragic that stuff happens, and it's like, it's especially tragic because you don't really have anybody to blame for it. It's just a bad occurrence. Yeah. But yeah, you see those kind of stories come up of the people helping each other and making little rafts and all that.
Yeah, and I feel like I feel like this kind of sends a message, right? When we as human race facing those natural disasters or pandemic, we have to stand together to get through this together. Otherwise, we will just be divided and we're not getting anywhere, right? Yeah. So I just hope this thing, things will be better for the Henan province and the people in Zhengzhou city. So the life will get back to normal. Yeah. And I the message here I want to express is there's still love in this world, and people are nice. Most people are nice. Most people. Yeah. The vast majority of people are nice. Yeah. I think we have to believe in that. Yeah, we tend to forget that. I think. So that's my second thing. And Matt, what's your last thing? Well, the funny thing about my last thing is actually sort of related to what you just talked about. Yeah.
maybe on a slightly smaller scale.
Okay.
So my third thing today is actually, it's a fairly small one. It's something that happened yesterday. I think everyone knows that we have been a bit separated from our neighbors the last, year and a half, 18 months, just because of, you have to wear masks and you can't really see each other and you have to keep your distance and all that. But something happened to me, just a very small thing that sort of reminded me that like, hey, like we're actually all in this together and we're like, you can be friendly and like you can have nice neighbors. So I got a message from a number I didn't know yesterday. And it just said, hi, I just found a package with your name on it. It was in the road. You can probably tell that the postie is not my third thing.
Yeah.
I have other words to say about the posties, but anyway. It was on the road. I can leave it out the front, in front of my door at address. Let me know when you can come and get it and I'll put it down there. And it just brightened my day so much because I was waiting for a package. I'd gotten a message about it earlier in the week but there was nothing in front of our building with my name. There's nothing in my mailbox. And so I was thinking, okay, maybe just like a glitch in the system. I'll just wait and see if I get it.
Yeah.
And I just sort of forgot about it. And then this person messaged me, I guess because my phone number, luckily my phone number was on the outside of the package.
Yeah.
They didn't have to open it to figure out what my phone number was.
Yeah.
And messaged me and they just put it outside of their door a couple blocks away, and I went down and grabbed it and I went back up and it was actually a dog toy for our puppy Mocha, who's been playing with it. So I sent them a picture of it, and they said that it made their day, that they were able to let my puppy have his toy. And I don't know,
it's really like small sweet things.
Very small.
Yeah.
It's like the scaled down by 1,000% of helping people in a natural disaster. This wasn't a natural disaster, obviously, but it's just like a little example of finding those bright spots in humanity, and it just made my day better. So
it just makes your heart feel warm. It's like it's a little very nice gesture from your neighbor, from someone you never know, and it's I know it's small, but if you do these things, it would make other people's day more brighter, right?
Yeah.
And in turn, your life will be much better.
I will say it makes me feel a little bad because historically, I don't really talk to my neighbors much. We haven't even done that here. We probably should do that more.
Yeah.
I guess it's like I said, it's a weird time for it just because you're not supposed to be.
No, you're not supposed to talk. Follow the house of the West.
Yeah. You can't just show up with like a plate of cookies and say, here you go.
Yeah.
Because you're just not allowed to do that right now. But maybe this is honestly making me think like once this at some point all the pandemic stuff kind of goes away a bit more, that I think I kind of want to make more of an effort to do that with my neighbors. And
I feel like these neighbors gesture, right, would help us. We would like to play it forward, right? Pay it forward. Say if anyone else experience something and need our help, we would love to offer our help as well. And if everyone's doing the same thing, the world will become better, right? And everyone's life will be better.
This episode is becoming very like togetherness and like
it's
pretty much just like the Olympics.
Yes, exactly.
I think we set the tone.
We have to get through it together.
Yeah, exactly. So that's my thing. Just a small one, but it made me feel good.
Yeah.
So, Yuna, do you want to take us home with your third thing? Is it still heartwarming, your third thing?
Yeah, that's the thing. So my third thing is it's really simple. It's really small. We've got our weekend seafood delivery.
Yeah,
today.
but this is not about togetherness necessarily, because we're just gonna eat it and enjoy it.
No, it's not about togetherness. The reason it brings me joy is because it's fresh seafood and it's amazing. Like it's directly from the fish market, and I'm just very grateful that this online shopping experience that can bring us fresh seafood. I really appreciate the technology, and all the delivery drivers and all the business will provide their online service, which makes me really happy, because around where we live, we don't have fresh fish market here to buy a reasonable price sashimi or sushi or chili crab. But with this delivery company, we are able to have our fresh salmon sashimi, the grilled eel, which Matt loves to eat a lot, and fresh Tasmania Pacific oyster, which we haven't had since our December Tassie trip. It's a long time. And what's more exciting is...
Can we pause for a second?
Why?
You're making us sound very privileged right now.
What?
We haven't had our fresh Tassie oyster since December.
Sorry, I just really love oysters. And there's one more thing we ordered from that delivery company,
this is actually
right?
what I'm most excited about, because
Yeah.
one of the things that we were actually planning on back in 2020 before the pandemic started. We were trying to have another annual international trip planned.
Yeah.
To one of our favorite places to travel, which is Singapore.
Singapore, and we really love the Singapore chili crab there. Like I remember last time when I went to Singapore, I had chili crab 4 times in a 3-day trip. So that means how much I love the chili crab.
Yeah.
So from this delivery company, they actually offer a cook at home kit for Singaporean chili crab. And we're so excited. So I found that and told Matt, say, hey, we have this. Do you want to accept the challenge? We cook the chili crab.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes.
And then we received the box this morning. It's very nice packaged, and they provide everything. It's like the HelloFresh, and all the instructions how to cook chili crab. So I'm just really excited and grateful. We're able to have the opportunity to do this. If we can't do this without the convenience of the online shopping, which I'm really grateful for, especially in this difficult time.
Cool.
So that's my third thing, and I believe we will keep you updated. How is our journey with cooking the chili crab?
Oh yeah,
it's gonna be a very interesting challenge experience for us.
We'll see how that goes. We're okay cooks when it comes to cooking like crab
and seafood.
I'm still pretty green to that.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
So that's our 3 things. Thank you for listening, and we'll be back next week with 3 more joyful things. As always, you can check on the our3things.com website and follow along with all episode show notes. We also have full transcripts on there if you're interested in checking those out. And you can follow on Instagram at our3things, and during the week we just post little joys that we're experiencing during the week as we think of them, just to help brighten our day and brighten everyone else's day who sees them.
Yeah.
Anything else, Yuna?
No, I think that's it. We can wrap it up.
Awesome. Well, that will wrap up episode 5 of the show. And of course, before we leave, we need to remind you,
our 4th thing
is you. Bye.
Bye. What are you going to say?
You turn me off. Okay, you gotta stop laughing.
Okay,
you done laughing? Okay, let me try this again. You done?
Yeah.
I'm trying to do our sign-offs here, but Yuna keeps laughing. She's having a giggle fit over there.
Yes.
You good? Okay.
Yeah, I'm good.
All right.